So we're looking at the wrath of God falling on Babylon. We've seen that Babylon controls the military political powers of the world, and she uses this power to kill the followers of Jesus, and she gets the wrath of God as a result. And in Revelation 18 we saw, it looks like God burns her up with fire until. Before we go to the next section about who lit the fire, which is going to be an eye-opener that fits exactly the pattern Deuteronomy 31. For the pattern to parallel Deuteronomy 31, we first need to see God abandoned and the worshipping of other gods, right? We've got an explicit statement on that. Revelation 13:4 English Standard Version says this, "And the world, they worshipped the dragon, for he had given his authority to the beast." The beast, the Babylon rides, remember? "And they worshipped the beast, saying, 'Who is like the beast? Who can fight against it?'" It's clear. The whole world has sold itself out to worshipping other gods. Now it's the devil and the beast. And later on it'll say in chapter 13, the image of the beast. A counterfeit trio. So, we can tick the box of Deuteronomy 31. God has been abandoned. People have resolutely chosen to worship other beings. This time it's the dragon himself, the head honcho. Babylon controls the beast with the 10 horns. And the 10 horns are 10 kings. And she's using the beast with its military might through the union of the 10 kings who give their power to the beast to kill the followers of Jesus. So we've got false worship happening all the way through the book of Revelation. That's a done deal. So now what would we expect? God would release his wrath, pull back, and then other powers will come in and finish Babylon off. Babylon is controlling the beast with the 10 horns, which are 10 kings, to kill the followers of Jesus, and the world is worshipping the beast, the dragon, and the image of the beast. It's fitting Deuteronomy 31. So now we would expect the wrath of God to fall. What does that mean? Pull back. But chapter 18 said clearly that God sent the fire. Did it really? It says, "For mighty is God who judges her. She will be burned up, for God will judge her." It didn't say that he burnt her down. But that's how people read it. How does God's wrath and judgment work in the Bible? God withdraws his presence, external powers fill the void and destroy. Am I suggesting that Babylon is going to be destroyed from external powers and not God? Because God is withdrawn? That's exactly what I am saying. Look at this. Remember the 10 horns in 17:12 are 10 kings who give their power to the beast. And Babylon uses that power to kill the people of God. Now 17:16, look at the twist. Who destroys Babylon? The 10 horns and the beast who the Babylon was riding, the 10 horns and the beast will hate the prostitute. From being controlled, they turn on Babylon. What? Here it comes. They will make her desolate. What? Yes. God didn't do it. Evil turns on itself as God pulls back in his wrath. It's the wrath of God. It's the judgment of God. As the world worships the devil, God withdraws his protective presence, and now evil destroys itself. It turns on itself. God doesn't do it. Look, they will make her desolate and naked. They will devour her flesh, and they burn her up with fire. Game over. Slam dunk. God didn't burn her with fire. But it's the judgment of God. Yes. It's the wrath of God. Yes. What God allows through his wrath, divine withdrawal, is attributed to him as actively doing boom. God didn't light the fire. external powers burnt down Babylon. Evil turned on itself. And that's the history of the world, folks. Look at all the dictators. They come undone from within. That's why it said in the seventh plague that when God poured out his wrath on Babylon, it didn't say it was destroyed. It was split into three. Its foundations were cracked. And now the walls come tumbling down. It's the wrath of God, not in the sense of divine violence, but in the sense of divine withdrawal. And then external powers come in and they finish you off. That's how the wrath of God works in the book of Revelation. God is not divinely violent. He withdraws his presence, which is exactly what we've seen through this whole series. From Moses in Deuteronomy 31, to the flood, God hiding his face, to Jesus crying over Jerusalem and then walks out and pulls out of the temple, leaving it desolate, and the Romans coming in, to the destruction of Babylon. Divine wrath is never divine attack, it's divine withdrawal, and evil will finally come to an end as it turns on itself. That's the wrath of God in the Bible. And another series of teachings, not this one, because we're bringing this to a close, I will show that the wrath of God is not the end. What? No, it's not the end. And I'm going to leave you hanging. If you want to know more about that, go to my general page. The link should be there. And have a look at all the stuff I've written about redemption beyond wrath. I hope this series has blessed you guys. God is not violent. Not even with the ancient worldview of the Hebrews was God the violent one. Yes, he allows, according to the Jewish views, but we're Christians. He allows the devil to do this by giving him permission. Yeah, all that he has is in your hand. You go, but yeah. Even with that, God says, I will not stretch out my hand. He doesn't do it. He's never been violent. Not from the flood right up to the destruction of Babylon in the book of Revelation. Not violent at all. 2 courses are on YouTube. One on the book of Revelation. Drop a comment and I'll give you the link. And number 2, my general page, where you're going to find a lot of stuff that's going to set you free. I love you all. I hope this series has blessed you. Goodbye.